Yo, what's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all tuning in, joining back to the channel. Shout out to everybody who've been watching, who've been subscribing, who've been liking, who've been commenting, all the new folks. Definitely all my old OG family. Shout out to y'all. Hey, today we are going to dive into the Village of Dolton, their trustee board meeting that happened this week. We're going to talk a little bit about it is a little thing that we got to break down that happened in it. And so we're going to definitely rap about it. If you're new to the channel, my name is Marcus. I'm the debt free dad. Here we talk finances and attorney reactions to current events. Generally, if it's a pre recorded video, we're going to talk about the money side of the game. If I'm going live, I'm going to talk about something that's trending or give a reaction. Friday, I'm gonna do a late show. I got a crazy lawsuit that involves someone who was the subject of a DEA arrest, who everybody will know if I name them, and someone who was trending in news for most of 2024 as an entertainer in the hip hop side of the game. I don't even want to spill the beans because the thumbnail is going to be wild. But in any event, I always got to give the disclaimer. I am a licensed attorney. I'm licensed in several jurisdictions. None of those jurisdictions amount to me being your counselor of law. So essentially, what that means, if you're looking for legal or financial advice or advice on anything, cutting hair, anything, seek a professional in your area, someone who has a fiduciary duty, and always check with your state licensing board to make sure people are who they say they are, because people lie all the time, they cap all the time, and all of that good stuff. Now, before we dive into this video, is a couple things that I didn't want to do, okay? Because I thought about doing the actual live stream of the Village of Dolton and their township board trustee meeting. Yo, shout out to you. First comment of the day, Corey Williams. Shout out to you. Appreciate you joining in to the live. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment, hit dislike, whatever. Do whatever y'all want to do, but I appreciate the interaction from everybody. But I thought about doing a live stream of the actual board meeting, but I'm gonna be honest, like unless y'all expressly like, yo, do a live stream when they at the time that they are actually having their board meeting live, I would do it, but I don't think that provides the most value. What I don't want to happen is I don't want to sit here and I'm just playing the video of them, because I need some time to process what's going on. Okay, I need a little bit of time to process what's going on, to go through the video, to find what's funny. What all of the shit is funny, but to find what's funny, what's entertaining, what I need to break down and explain. So y'all let me know in the comments if y'all want me to do a live stream. But I think it provides more value if I do it a day or two after I had a chance to digest things and kind of explain how things go. All right. So we're gonna tune into this board meeting. Now, this board meeting was hours long. That's the other thing. If I do a live board meeting, y'all gonna see me eating dinner and getting snacks and all sorts of fat shit. So I don't know if y'all really want to go down that road. But we're gonna tune into this board meeting, and there are a few points we're gonna pretty much stop in and jump in on this video. We're going to look at the introduction because I always want y'all to see how it starts. You know, that's with anything. When if it's a car accident, everybody want to get to see how did this happen. So we're going to look at the introduction at about the 1 minute and 13 mark. Cameras were there and rolling as people were coming in. Then we're going to pivot to some budget talk. Um, I think you should wait, but I'm cool if you don't. I agree with that. I appreciate that. I just don't want to live stream a town board meeting and I can't really give it any context. Or I gotta like move from the video, then talk and explain something or say something that I want to interject. I just feel like it's too much. I mean, hey, shout out, views are good, but I don't want to be duplicative and give y'all the same thing over and over. I want to give y'all everything in one shot. But like I was saying, we're gonna look at the introduction when this board meeting actually start. Then we're gonna jump to about the 1 hour 36-minute mark where the budget talks are coming in. Now, the 1 hour 41-minute mark is what the thumbnail is based on. I think let's go through the first two. Let's go through the first two things, right? Once we go through the first two things, then I'll pause it. I'll do a little bit of explaining because I gotta actually give the board of trustees in the village of Dolton a round of applause. They actually did something that was pretty smart. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, that's smart. They should have did that probably. They probably should have did that a year and a half ago. But in any event, they did something that was actually smart. But there's no need to explain it now because I just want to watch a few things. And then finally, we're going to take a look at some of the public speakers. At the end of all of these village board meetings, they allow the board members to, not the board members, the public to come up and say what's on their mind. They give them a finite period of time. It may be a minute, it may be 3 minutes. Now, of course, we're not going to watch all of them because there's always a Tiffany Henyard. There appears to always be a Tiffany Henyard plant in the audience who just says glowing things. But some of the things are really pertinent, related to things that happened at a previous board meeting, such as an assault that occurred allegedly by the super mayor's boyfriend. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to see how this meeting start. Then we're going to jump to some of the budget talk. Then I'm going to take a pause for the cause and I'm going to explain the finesse move that the board of trustees are about to pull off here. That was actually a smart move. Then we're going to watch that whole situation happen and play out. Then we're going to take a look at some of the public comments. Throughout, if there's any comments, I'm going to try to hit up the comments. I'm going to try to answer the questions and everything and give my, interject if it's deemed appropriate. Or like I said, if somebody got a question or something that they want me to go ahead and dive in. Because this video is a weird camera angle, as you can see. You got everybody in there. Because it's an awkward camera angle, I think I'm going to roll like this. I think this is going to be the best view. Henyard lacks any moral compass. I bet she was calling various attorneys today trying to get one to file paperwork in court to reverse this. The trustees did a great job. I agree. They did a great job. I just don't understand why the hell they did it too late. Like, this is a weird, like, I didn't even look into like I probably should have like, hey, I'm an attorney, but I got tired of be doing all this. But I didn't even look into all of the protocols that Henyard would have to do as mayor of the village of Dalton and supervisor of the township. Like, as mayor, some mayors have certain veto powers to be able to avoid certain legislation, like here where I'm at in the district. Yo, and shout out to y'all. If y'all haven't watched, make sure y'all watch the last video live I did. If I got to talk about Tiffany Henyard, of course I got to talk about the politicians in my own backyard. A DC council member was arrested on Sunday by the FBI. I knew what it was before they even released the charges. As always, money and contracts and bribery. And we went through and read the actual arrest affidavit that established probable cause. It was wild. It was everything from PPP fraud to snitches to video surveillance footage to audio footage to him asking for more money to give his girlfriend some money because she was about to go on a girls trip, which was kind of simpish, but it was interesting. But if I'm gonna shine a light on everybody else jacked up politicians, when we have one in my own backyard, as down as I was to do it, because I met this brother in a professional setting. I met him personally. He spoke at a family member's funeral. He's active in the community. But yeah, it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for him. I honestly think this could be a blessing to Dalton. Maybe it'll give some youth an idea to get into politics. The finesse was hilarious. It was hilarious, Miss Kurt. It was hilarious, but it was also like just mad late. Like y'all should have did this a long time ago. And yet threatened to say they did not have a quorum if they did not come upstairs after huddling with the attorneys upstairs. She came down and she was appropriately roasted just about all. Oh man, hold on. I gotta do something real ghetto. I gotta do something. Struggle streaming is real. Hold on. Come up here with me. I'm on the live. Bye. Hi, daughter number 2. All right. I heard him barking. I done jumped off the live and messed everything up. All right, my bad. That was Mad Hood. Sorry about that. I had to take a quick pause for the calls. But this dog never barked. That's why I heard the dog barking. But my daughter and her many friends, many of my adopted daughters, they came in and joined. Some say with Henyard in both positions, it could be considered a conflict. What do you think? I actually touched bases on that, and I definitely think it's a conflict. I think her and all those attorneys were in a conflict because you don't know what moves are being made by Henyard on the behalf of who. Like normally you would think they would have something in the legislation that doesn't allow for persons, especially if it's a full-time position. Because some mayors of small towns are part-time positions. They may only pay $30,000 or $40,000. But if it's an actual full-time position where you're getting a full-time salary, it should be some express language somewhere that says, like, if you're serving in this role, you can have another private venture. So I can be a council member and have my own law firm. That's fine. But to serve in another government role is kind of wild. It doesn't make sense. The township trustees were stacked on her side until about 2 months ago. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into this video. Right now, we at the 105 mark. This is just to kind of get a look at the crowd as everybody coming in as they slow roll in.
It goes right in, but I keep forgetting.
I'm gonna watch this thing all the way through because as much as I love y'all and rock with y'all, this thing it's like 3 hours. Your boy can't do it. That 3 hours, not yet. That during the weekday.
Yeah.
But you see, they setting up the podium. People were there really early too, like mad early. Like playing it in front of camera. Let me see if I can find it.
Don't flip out to the side. Appreciate y'all. Burgundy Blue in the building.
People showed up mad early and was in front of the camera complaining about what was going on. Let me see. They about to come into the picture frame. Shout out to the 2% of Caucasian folks who appear to live in the village of Dolton based on this.
So you don't use it.
Let me see. I thought here they go.
I want you to know that as a citizen of the Village of Dolton and Thornton Township,
yes,
I was the 4th citizen in line at the doors, and I was not permitted to go into the meeting room tonight for the meeting. And my rights as a citizen are being obstructed, that I would be permitted, according to the laws that affect us in the state of Illinois. I was not permitted to go into the meeting. What reason did they give you for that? They are seating employees and people that were enjoying being into those seats. Right. But explain what that is for people who don't know. Thornton Township has bingo for citizens. Here on this floor, in this
They just complaining. They complaining about anything. But I will tell you, normally when you have those types of meetings, the government officials have their only seating area, but this is a really small area. But they do typically give priority to persons who are seniors and persons who are disabled. Now, if you don't look disabled, they're gonna be like, "Get your ass in the back." Me as a disabled veteran, people ask me all the time, like, "Why are you parking in that handy space?" And my response is, "Just mind your damn business." But that's normally how things go. Now we're going to jump to the 1 hour and 13 mark. Because I want y'all to see that once this thing gets started, a little bit before then. But I want y'all to just see, really, this is just a pulse check. You got to see how the temperature is in the room. So we're going to watch this pulse check for a little bit. Then we're going to dive into the budget and the credit card talk. And I'm going to explain what went on with this ordinance and why it was a smart play that probably occurred 16 months too late, but it was a smart play nonetheless. although unnecessary for an investigation for a crime, in my personal opinion. A long-time family member, an OG in the game. Come on, get this thing cranked up, y'all. All right, they about to start. So,
all right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out this evening. There's a lot to discuss as relates to Thornton Township. First and foremost, I just want to set some rules. Those that have not been here at the last town hall meeting, it was really hostile. There was a lot of issues going on. So today we will not be allowing any of that to happen. So if anything gets out of order, I will cancel the meeting and everybody will be removed from the meeting. Your job is to have a decent meeting where you hear us and understand what's going on here at Thornton Township. So
take a look at Gonzalez over here, who's one of the reasons that she's on the board. He you could tell he already nervous. Take a look at his posture. His hands is clasped. It looked like he's looking at his note. But take a look at his foot right down here in the bottom left corner. He know he got something to say, and you could tell he's nervous and anxious about how it's going to be received. Probably not by the public, but by Henyard himself. But I like to point out those context clues as someone who's been formally trained for a shitload of hours on reading body clues and to understand a person's veracity for truthfulness or nervousness or anxiousness.
All your outbursts, if you can keep that to yourself, you will have time to address this body. You're to sign in to speak. You will get 3 minutes to speak to this board. I just want to make sure we're clear on the rules. Nobody can say, hey, you didn't give us rules. We have an order.
That was the finesse. That's why she kept those people out. I got it. I appreciate that, Chris.
Us. So we can allow everybody to leave in a decent time and order. So I just want to make that announcement so we're crystal clear on the rules. First, I would like to call to order and also back up a little bit. That's the reason why we have it in our actual board meeting, which is located upstairs. Every time we have a town hall meeting, we have a meeting upstairs, and the overflow is downstairs in the level. Unfortunately, the Board of Trustees didn't want to come upstairs because obviously people have plans to disrupt the meeting. We're not here for that. We're not here for the show. We're not here for the clickbait. We're here to actually listen to the business at hand. So I'm just trying to let you know the why and what is going on. I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to get home to their loved one. I don't want anybody bickering and touring one another. I don't want any of that. I want you to come the same way. I want you to leave the same way you came, in one piece. Because someone do love you and do care about you.
That sound mad threatening. Yo, I want you to leave the same way you came, in one piece. So don't get out of line. That's what it sounds like to me.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Once again, if you're using my content,
Yeah.
courtesy and give me respect.
Shout out to hey, I'm glad he reminded me.
Which content is
Let
coming?
me go and pull it up. Let's take a pause for the call.
6:59 p.m.
We always want to shout out the creator of this because I damn sure wasn't recording all this. Reality Check TV Chicago. He actually records all these things live and upload them to his channel. So if y'all ever want to go check out his content, if y'all do go over there to look at this stuff, tell him y'all came from DFD. He sent y'all over there, but make sure to check out his content. And I probably throw a link in the description as well.
Trustee Jones? Right. Trustee Gonzalez?
Right.
Trustee Gray Everett? Trustee Carlisle?
All right, we're going to take a pause here because now they're doing a name check. We're going to skip all that and get to some of the meat and potatoes. I want to address a few comments that I see on the screen, let me go ahead and make that smaller. Maybe they have changed their minds after being interviewed by the FBI/IRS investigators. Who knows? Maybe it will come out at a later date. I do agree that, hey, once you start talking to the feds, it'll change everybody's tune. And the other thing too is you got to think anybody who did anything in the furtherance of any of the illegal activities is going on could be caught up in a conspiracy. And when you have a conspiracy, think of you have a conspiracy, multiple people, but you also have what's called an accessory before the fact, during the fact, and after the fact. You can be an accessory to a crime before it happens, during the commission of the crime, and after the commission of the crime. And normally, what type of accessory you are could determine your sanction, so your punishment. So an accessory during the fact is normally treated the same as the person who actually committed the offense. An accessory after the fact, typically not. That's like, okay, my boy robbed the bank. I don't know he robbed the bank, but when he came by the house, he was like, yo, take this satchel, take this satchel full of money that say Wells Fargo on it and hold it for me. And I end up getting popped. So a lot of things depend, but if there's any evidence that they were complicit and had knowledge of what was going on, and let's just be frank, from watching all of these videos, anybody who works in the government, a part of the government of the Village of Dolton, the entire township, they all have knowledge of what's going on. So if you do anything in the furtherance of that, your ass is probably going to be up, you know what's creek without a paddle. That's why, and I did see that in the beginning, she filled the main boardroom with supporters before letting the others in. I did see that they wouldn't let people in, so that's why they didn't let the older folks in. They want to make sure they get the plants in. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Some of their names were on the Fed's paperwork. That's why Carmen flipped. Everybody flipped. Everybody flipped. Thousands of cases across my desk as an investigative attorney, a defense attorney, a prosecutor, and only two people who were like, nah, I'm not going to flip. I don't want to say anything, and I'm not taking any plea deal. Like, you could take a plea deal and not give up information. Like, yo, we don't want to waste our time and have a trial. So let's just work out something where, hey, if you agree to this, we'll do this, blah, blah, blah. These only two people, they was like, nah, I'm going to just plead guilty and let the judge decide what happened, which was stupid as hell because you know what happened? I had to give them, hey, this is the plea agreement we got worked out for less than the max that you could get. They didn't want to take it. I had to actually make them sign paperwork saying you were presented this plea agreement for X and you decline it in exchange for your sentencing to be determined solely by the judge. And they did that. And what do y'all think the judge did? The judge torched their ass out. Henyard wanted to keep the bingo folks and nobody else. The bingo folks gonna be quiet. Whenever the meetings are downstairs, they light into her. That's just that energy. The last meeting, Nate left in a neck brace. I don't know. I saw that dude complaining about getting jacked up by our boyfriend. I heard rebellings that Henyard and Freeman are not the only ones who are reportedly under investigation in Thornton Township, to include Henyard's relatives she hired. Yeah, the family, it's called the family and friends plan, like a cell phone company would have. A lot of people she hired have criminal backgrounds. And I did see that. A lot of people she hired has criminal backgrounds. A lot of them have backgrounds for like stuff that criminals in prison don't even like on the offenders registry and all sorts of nonsense. Now, let me go ahead and move this forward to where we getting into the budget talk. That's about I got to look at my notes, see where it's at. All right, we started at about 135.
Wednesday, you can stop there and get food from the actual food pantry, and it's fresh produce as well as bread. But I just want you to know that's there. Something new that we just did is cooking with Tiff. Cooking with Tiff meaning your supervisor. So what we do is we allow people to come in and cook with your supervisor, and you get to show the world your recipe that your grandma, your uncle,
that's crazy as hell.
Taught you.
Cooking with Tiff with taxpayer funds. I don't want to cook with no politician. I don't care if it was Obama. Nah, I'm good on that. Go take
outside
your ass to work
here
because
on
we
Friday.
paying you.
So we have a fresh ground beef. We have everything in the box to make meatloaf or hamburgers or cheeseburgers. So the reason for that is just to showcase the talents throughout Florida Town.
I told y'all,
If
she
anybody
always
can
trying
sign
to
up
feed
cook
people
with me,
and give that
anybody
public
can sign up
perception.
to share their recipe, to show somebody else how you cook your item at home. What else we got? We got house music bags.
All of these activities are ridiculous. All of these activities are wasting taxpayers' dollars. It's just maybe Tiff can teach the inmates how to cook. I know it's hard to cook when the only thing you got is a toilet bowl for water, but it's possible. Hey, I done seen some prison TikToks where they be making cakes in the garbage can and all that. But this is terrible because all of these events are using taxpayer monies. It's the smallest of all the misappropriated funds. Very small percentage are going to these actual events. A book bag giveaway. Even when she's talked about cooking with Tiff and the meals she named, they was all like cheap ass meals. If you're gonna take all this money, at least have an event where you giving out some filet mignon or something. They was like hamburgers, meatloaf, all ground beef. I was like, all the cheapest is probably like 20% lean, 80% fat. It's ridiculous how much they are kind of defrauding things on the fraud side of the game.
We got workout sessions. I'm real big on workout because the life is short. Make sure you get your steps in every day.
I do agree that all of those things are good. Promoting workout, fitness, social events, events for the kids, but all those things are good when you're not misappropriating funds.
And that's the reason why we're trying to educate people to come to speak up for the things that you really enjoy here at Thornton. Because there's a lot of great
Let me
things
move
that
it
we
up a
put
little
in
bit
place.
because I think
There's
it's
a lot
at
of great
9.
great.
All right. Let's see.
Ordinance, I'll just read it. The purpose of this ordinance.
Okay, all right, here we go. We get into the.
Please come to work out with us. We do that. We have.
Let me just let this shit play right here.
These are
Kind of
all
adjust
great
it minutes
events that
to
we do
minutes.
here for Township. They added in ordinance form, and that's the reason why we're trying to educate people to come to speak up for the things that you really
Hey,
enjoy.
spam slap. All right, don't let DFD fool you. I grew up off of stuff like that. Fry that joint, make a sandwich with some mustard on it. Fire.
Of the wonderful activities.
It's unhealthy as hell
And I
though.
always try to encourage residents, if it's something that you want us to add or change, let us know, because we are open always to your opinion and your suggestions here at Thornton Township. And that's how we was able to get our numbers up by 80% because we listened to the people. The people came in, gave an opinion of what they thought it should be.
They're not listening to the people about the fraud, but they listen to the people about the spam and the manwich and all of that stuff.
The things
Terrible.
that they was targeting as relates to things we have created for you residents of Thornton Township. So it was a motion and.
Well, if I may, we're still under discussion. Obviously, this ordinance has in many ways looking to eliminate.
All right, let's go ahead and explain what's going on right here. Right now, what y'all about to hear is kind of key. They're going to go over the budget. And this is something that, hey, we got to give shout out to the Board of Trustees for finally putting their heads together and figuring out what can we do to curb this. Although I don't think it's a necessity for points of an investigation and prosecution, it is smart because it just cleans things up. The board essentially passed an ordinance. And, well, let me back up. I'm not sure how it works in the Village of Dolton, but generally what happens, a Board of Trustees, council, if here in DC where I'm at, the council members can propose legislation. The mayor can propose legislation. So typically what happens, the council members propose legislation. Once they propose that legislation, if they got all like, okay, this is the legislation we want, they'll send it up to the mayor. The mayor can make adjustments to that legislation. They cannot do anything and just let it become law by not doing anything. Or they can exercise their power to just veto it. Like, yo, I'm gonna veto this because I don't want to do it. But the mayor generally, again, I'm explaining how it works in the district, but this is generally kind of the norm for most cities. If the mayor isn't impressed, like, nah, I don't like that bill is whack, it's not advantageous to me and what I want to do, I'm going to veto it. Even though the mayor vetoes it, in most places, probably all places, the council, the Board of Trustees have a mechanism to override that veto. in most places, I can speak for DC specifically, if the mayor vetoes a bill that was proposed by the city council can override that veto if they have what they call a supermajority, essentially 2/3 of the vote. Mayor vetoes it. I don't like this bill. We're not signing this in the law. It's not happening. It goes back to the city council or the board or whatever the hell you want to call it. They would vote, and if they have a supermajority, whether it's 2/3, whether it's 75%, whatever it is, if they got that supermajority, it overrides the mayor's veto and it comes into law. I say that because I wanted to explain what's going on here. And this is also why I talked about the thing you want to do if you're in politics is not have the police officers on your side because they can't help you. You want to have at least enough people on your council or on your board of trustees on your side so that you don't got to win the vote. You just have to be able to present them from getting the supermajority. That way your veto can always stand. That's how you actually play politics, but she's a rookie. We can tell by the mistakes and the schemes that are going on and that are going on here. But what's about to go on? The board is like, yo, we need to get some control over spending, particularly with credit cards. Now, what is done, a mayor comes in, anytime an appointed or elected official come in, they pretty much appoint their own cabinet members. So if the mayor of DC comes in, she'll appoint an inspector general. She'll appoint someone to represent the Department of Transportation, the Education Department. They'll appoint all of these people. And normally what happens is actually normal. How it's set up here is kind of normal. But normally what happens, each head that's appointed by the mayor of an agency, they have that agency has their own budget. And internally, that agency has their own spending power. So the Department of Transportation, in my DC example, they got their own budget and their own spending powers, multiple credit cards within that organization that falls under the overall funds of the Department of Transportation. Education would be the same. The IG's office would be the same. Hell, the Attorney General would be the same, only the Attorney General is elected and not appointed. So that's typically how it works. The format that they have here is kind of similar. Henyard comes in. She appoints persons to certain positions over certain agencies. Each of those agencies has their own spending power, their own budget where they can spend money on their card. Now, the issue is what allegedly and purportedly is happening. We've seen in Lori Lightfoot report, a lot of spending is going on with the credit card. There's no accountability. And it appears in the Board of Trustees and the citizens and even me, it appears that essentially what happened is Henyard is directing the head of her various agencies to make certain purchases on her behalf. One of the things she always screams out at the meeting is, I have no control over the finances. I have no control over the money. I don't control any of that stuff. My name's not on any credit card. So what the Board of Trustees is doing, they're going to introduce and pass, they're going to introduce and try to push through an ordinance. What this ordinance does is all of those other credit cards that are out there in the ether that are with people who are in charge of agencies that were appointed to that position by Tiffany Henyard, they're collecting all of those cards. We want everybody credit card who is the head of an agency in the Village of Dolton. They take all those credit cards and they're going to consolidate them on one card. And that one card that they're consolidating them to has the name of the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Now, do y'all think she's going to be happy about this? Definitely not. But the reason that they're doing that is because they want to have some visibility. It makes it easier to see what is actually being purchased on the card. So if she uses the card to buy, I don't know, some dirt bikes off of Amazon, some sandals, some flip-flops, 2 Indian hair weaves, and some mascara, they'll be able to see that, yo, all of these purchases are directly on this card are related to you. And I tell y'all, just from experience, I used to hate purchase cards. When I ran an organization, I made my deputy do it. I was like, man, I'm not putting my name on that purchase card stuff. Not that I was going to pull a Henyard, but it's just, it was too much to worry about. I had more bigger fish to fry, so I just made my deputy do it. So I kind of pull a Henyard in that regard. When I needed something, that was legitimate, I would say, hey, deputy, we need to get X, Y, and Z and make it happen. But that's what's about to happen here. Let's tune in. I'm going to try to make minimal stops as possible, unless it's something that is I want to break down or that is funny. Before we go in, let me go and take a look at these comments before we jump in. All right, let's see. Where were we at? Okay, we got that one. Okay, relatives, we got that one. A lot of people with criminal records. Maybe Tiff can teach the inmates how to cook. Facts. Spam is fire. Fried spam and bologna. Yeah, bologna slap. The red ring, you got to pull off, though. I can smell the BS and corruption coming from the supervisor Henyard all the way over here in the UK. I know it's funny that people in the UK grits. Yo, I got some grits and scrapple or fried fish for breakfast with some grits, some scrambled eggs. Old school. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. We're gonna try to get through this as fast as possible.
These things, however, the purpose of the ordinance, I'll just read it. The purpose of this ordinance is to regulate the budgeting and expenditure process.
That was a little low.
For events organized by Thornton Township, ensuring proper oversight, approval, and adherence to set financial limits. Now, you can, or the administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily cut stuff out. However, if you're going to make a decision to do things that benefit the administration rather than help the people, that's your decision. We're not saying that, for the record.
Trustees, that is not true. You guys have, that is not true. You guys have been targeting the events and all the things from the last couple of months. The last board meeting about 2 months ago, you guys didn't even vote to pay anybody or any service. So stop it. You then put together this ordinance to say you want to stop the monthly events that we do every single month. So when you gonna
there she goes. She always trying to tie everything to the events because that's literally those events are literally the only thing that she does that you can honestly look at and be like, that's probably for the people. It's probably not for the people. It's probably for the people as a distraction, but I give her the benefit of the doubt. She always talking about those events. The other thing is, I see what because I'm gonna be honest, I never really watched like these trustee meetings. I've seen them in short clips if it's something I'm talking about, but I see what the ultimate problem is. The people on this board, a lot of them, they got too much decorum. Like this ain't 1873 where politicians got on wigs with the hair curled at the end like it's Thomas Jefferson or some shit. Everybody here is trying to be so professional, and sometimes if you're being bullied, sometimes you have to act like a bully. You can't be professional. So I think that's the other problem. That's why I think these people kind of get ran over a little bit because they like, yo, they're not effective or they haven't been effective in using their legislative powers. And then just during the conversations, they get out-talked because they're just trying to be so dignified in my person.
Read it in its entirety so people understand. Don't take one sentence out because if you go and you break it down, you will see exactly what the Board of Trustees are trying to do. Because if they wanted events to continue, for instance, we had the Taste of Thornton. Why didn't you guys approve any of the things for Taste of Thornton? We had a book bag giveaway. Why didn't you guys approve anything for the book bag giveaway? But we have to still keep going here at Thornton Township. So they can clap, you can try to make it sound good all you want, but that is not what they're trying to do. Because if they don't approve it, then how do we give it out to you, residents? And let's back up. Why do you think I keep asking for a budget? You move within a budget. Ain't no keep going back to the board for every single thing. Just like y'all did in the previous administration, when Frank was here, you have a budget for every single thing. So every single thing you have a budget for is what you are allowed to spend within your budget. But you guys won't even approve a budget. So how do you operate if you don't have a budget to produce these things for the residents of Thornton Township? All right. So
I
the
agree with
motion
that,
is
bro,
second.
Sean
You
West.
call the roll, please.
If they aren't, but they aren't filing for bankruptcy, but they, if in
Now,
in
for this,
effect,
just to
already
wrap
bankrupt.
up, I think you guys should amend this. Trustee Gonzalez, Trustee Jones, Trustee Gray Everett, Supervisor Henyard. No, motion passed.
All right, here we go. So they passed everything, and this is where the discussion get good.
Is there a motion to approve an amended ordinance 24-006 to establish a resale credit card net 30 policy for Jordan Township, Cook County, Illinois? Is there a motion? Is there a second? All right, is there a motion and second? Any discussion? Why y'all ain't, y'all got nothing to say, y'all don't wanna make the ordinances. Y'all wanna educate the people on what y'all wanna do, what y'all trying to do.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. Like, as I watch this, like I gotta give her credit. Like she mad hood, okay? She mad hood, but and her abilities as an orator aren't like Barack Obama, but because she sometimes ignorance and confidence are a thin line, and the line is blurred between the two. But it's something about being loud. It's something about being loud, even though you're wrong, that can get some people to buy in, or it could give the perception to some people that you're right. I mean, we're seeing this at the lowest level, and I believe we've seen this at the federal level as well. Let me shout out this comment right here because I think this is 100% true. Quit voting on identity candidates. Vote based on moral character and knowledge. Yep, moral character, knowledge, and policy. But this is a unique situation because, like, the people who was doing the election when she was running for not the township position that she was nominated to, but mayor, like, I mean, like somebody died and she really just fell into it. Like the craziest things happened for her to actually get in this position and to be able to do that. Yeah. Did she bring a lawyer? I don't believe she showed up with an attorney at this point. I didn't see anything in the video when I was previewing it to show that she showed up with counsel.
Anything?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, this one, I mean, I could read the sentence again, but I mean, just overall, we're just, look, we need to put some safeguards in place to, regulate what's spent on the credit cards. I mean, it's.
Hey, oh, damn it.
It was discussed last time that there may be some back and forth. We're open to that. But it's imperative that we get this passed. If you want to come forward with some amendments or to make some changes, we can do that. But it's imperative we get this passed tonight.
All right. So for the record, you guys know that I'm totally against how you guys structure this. I said this at some prior meeting, that's why I did not pass. You guys did call the vote and it died because you guys are just writing things and didn't ask anybody their opinion. As it relates to laws, us as the board supposed to discuss it, come up with a plan and execute it. You guys have not included the body in its entirety, nor did you include the staff. They are the ones that do the spending. They are the ones that do the operation as relates to the day-to-day. You guys put things in there like $1,000. Each of their departments spends more than $1,000 on lunches for the seniors, on youth and family programs. We told y'all this at the last meeting, and we're telling you this again. I am not for how you guys drew this ordinance up.
Yeah, see, I wasn't even looking, but yeah, I think that I'm pretty sure 100% positive that guy beside her, he's the same guy who was at the previous video he watched. And, hey, let's just keep it a buck. The trustee board is really beige. They got a lot of color going on over there. So he's just sitting there, and he's just sitting there to sit there. I guarantee you, I ain't gonna guarantee you, but I don't even know if he's I don't even know if he's familiar with what the process is. Like, honestly, I'm gonna just be honest, is actually no reason that an attorney should be there right now. Like, I mean, the only reason an attorney should be there right now is to get paid. And it's probably $400 or $500 an hour. But literally there's no value because anything that can happen in this meeting you have time to be able to adjust it. Let's say the ordinance passed with flying colors. You can have a conversation with your attorney tomorrow and he can give you like, okay, these are your options and your legal remedies that you have. So yeah, I don't know. I think that proof that your vote counts. Yeah, your vote does count, especially if you vote wrong. He's thinking he wants this meeting to run as long as possible. Hey, shout out to him, billable hours. Hey, shout out to billable hours, man. We got to make a living. The preacher. Is the guy to the left the lawyer? Yeah, that's her. Yeah, before giving everyone the stank eye. Yeah, he's the lawyer. Hey, let's keep it buck. And the lawyer and the two women complaining about bingo, literally like the only white folks in this entire video. So yeah, so now she's raising hell because she's pissed off about this ordinance being passed without any buy-in from her and her staff as to what's going on or this ordinance being proposed.
And I'm not for having a credit card. You guys wrote my name here. Do not add my name in something that I do not agree with. So for those that don't know and ain't read this, they added my name to get a card. I do not want a credit card. I do not deal with money. I don't deal with anything. So please do not add my name in something that I did not even agree to, trustees.
All right, so now we talked about what was going on. They consolidated all the cards and they like, yo, we're going to have one card and we're going to put it expressly in your name. Now, there is some protection because if the card is in her name because of her role, there is a bond, and essentially that affords some protection with regard to spending this on that card. But more importantly, the reasons that she's clearly adamant about not wanting this card in her name is because now unequivocally all of those transactions belong to her on paper. Now, from an investigative standpoint, doing this is completely unnecessary. I think it's a smart thing to do, but it's completely unnecessary because I guarantee you if the Federal Bureau of Investigation or whatever entity is conducting the investigation, if they had a conversation with an agency head that Tiffany Henyard appointed, and they said, hey, we're going to go through all of these credit card purchases that are on this card. We see a purchase here, $3,000 for the week of August 9th, and $3,000 were spent at weavalicious.com. You already know, that person is going to be like, hey, I was instructed by her to make those purchases. So I don't think from an investigation standpoint, they can find the information that they need easily if they already haven't gotten it. I'm sure they already have it. The bigger issue is it just cleans things up, especially for the Board of Trustees now, because now it's just one card. It's just one person's name on it. All purchases are flowing through these cards. Anything that's going to be done on this card, it has a higher level of scrutiny because your name is actually on it. You can't direct somebody else to use it. If you do direct somebody else to use it, your name is on the card. So we can presume that this was a purchase that you either made or an alternative that you actually authorized. So that's essentially how that goes. Let me take a look at some of the comments real quick. I saw that card. The lawyer always has to be in the room. Yeah, if that's her personal attorney, I agree because he's definitely not the attorney for the township. He look like he's paying close attention to the people in the audience because he's scared. He looking like, man, I done seen these Dolton Township meetings on YouTube. I don't want nobody start acting to cause a ruckus in here. 1 John 3:6, whoever abides in him sinneth not. Whoever sinneth has not seen him, neither know him. Hey, saints, sinners, man. I mean, crime is just for people of opportunity, and most people are greedy and they want something for nothing. I mean, he is people who've been in church all their life who steal. So it is what it is. Henyard is begging. The trustees have been trying to determine if Henyard actually has been bonded. Oh, okay. Because I know I'm assuming if it's an obligation that isn't already in play, just by her sitting in that role. If it's something that she actually has to do unilaterally on her own, she probably didn't do it. I just not. Can we really bank on Tiffany Henyard to do anything that actually should be done that's in the best interest of the actual town? No. She's only saying that because she knows the feds are breathing down her neck. I agree, they breathing down her neck, and there's nothing that she can do. And like I said, a grand jury has been impaneled. If the grand jury has been impaneled, they probably have her personal bank records. Yeah, evidently you don't know how law enforcement operates. Your name, your responsibility. I mean, if it's your name on it, it's your responsibility. But if my name isn't on the card, but I'm your supervisor and I direct you to make a purchase on that card, whose responsibility is that? I direct you to make a purchase that's not an authorized purchase, that's in fact stealing. I mean, the crime of theft of funds, it doesn't care whose name is on the credit card. People steal things all the time without their name being on a specific document or a specific credit card. I can go in my grandma's purse right now and take her credit card and say, "Hey, grandma, she don't know no better. I need you to get me this and that." And if that'll be financial abuse of a vulnerable adult. It happens all the time. When you put I've done these types of cases. When you put your elderly parents in a senior's home, or if you don't have family and an elderly person is in a senior's home, who has the authorization and access to, they may not have their name on the card, but no, they have those home health aides finesse those old people out of it. So, I mean, having it on the card is actually a good deal, but it doesn't really make a difference. The theft is the theft is the theft. Yeah. Don't put God or Jesus. She already, when black folks in general got the FBI breathing down their neck, they always like to pull the religious card. They need to check to see if she really bonded. Remember, she has been convicted of a crime. That's a good point. Lawyers there for the last people interested. That's why they're always there, looking at him just sitting there. Yeah, he literally has no vested interest. I would like to know what conversations he had. The only conversation that we had is, what statutory remedies do you have to prevent anything that may have been proposed or voted on tonight? Outside of that, there's nothing that can happen, personally. But let's go ahead and finish watching the rest of this video so we can see how this thing plays out.
So you should amend that. I don't even know why y'all made an amendment and added me in this. So please remove supervisor from this ordinance. And I think you guys should replace it, as we told you before, with a manager. I told y'all that because the managers are the ones that buy for their departments. So I don't work here every day as relates to in no one's department. So I wouldn't know if they needed some food for a senior. All they would do is go buy what they need for their department. Once again,
I will tell you, her point is correct. Her point is 100% correct, and it's how it's done in most cities. In most cities, like I said when we started this thing, the agency heads has their own spending power. The thing that's the issue here is that it appears the agency heads are being directed to make purchases by Tiffany Henyard that are purchases that have nothing to do with what's going on.
The purpose of a budget. When you have a budget, you telling them what they can spend within their department. And all of them produce receipts. Every single department does. People that didn't produce receipts no longer work for Orange Township. So let's be crystal clear about that. But please remove my name from this, because I'm not for this. You have to get this amendment, and I was told that.
Please remove my name from this. That's hilarious.
And I'm not for it. So remove supervisor from here. I see y'all put the finance director on here, and then you put supervisor with the finance director. So let's strike that now. Ain't no pass this with my name, so no to that. And then I see that you guys strike $1,000 and put $10,000 only in the case of emergencies. Again, Tony department, which is all of them basically, he spent more than that off of if a truck or a bus breakdown. So do IT, which Robert Hunt explained that to you. Our computers, our servers, things go down, cost $5,000 for just one computer. So I'm saying that you guys, because you so much attacking supervisor, that y'all not thinking about the overall picture. And I told y'all should talk to the staff before making a law that don't make sense for the staff on a day-to-day operation. You have to understand how they operate daily in their needs, not just making laws and then now it does not work. Now, how you affect, you made a rule, a law that they can't abide by because their operation needs more than what you wrote as a law. So talk to the staff. I think you should go back to the drawing board or adjust what being right here, right now, or go back to the drawing board. One of the two you should do. But do not, please remove me from this. I'm not for that ordinance. So y'all will make a amendment?
Motion to approve ordinance 24-006 as.
Okay, well, our motion to amend that take supervisor off, like I just said. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all wait. I'm adding in this law, because I don't want a credit card. So I'm making a motion that we amend this ordinance as relates to a supervisor having anything to do with credit card. Is there a second for my motion?
I have something to say, based on.
Okay, wait a minute, hold on, let me amend this first.
No, it's discussion for the first motion.
Well, I'm trumping the motion first, so I can trump the motion. Do I have a second? Okay, it's a motion and a second to, trump their motion. So you got it, it's myself and Darlene. I gotta be all in on that. So now what you gotta say, now discussion. Remove supervisor. Now go ahead.
Okay, so they did request that there be an additional part because the original ordinance did only have the finance director, Robert Hunt, listed. And according to my knowledge, I know the previous administration for 29 years only had one credit card, and they were able to successfully handle township business with that one credit card. And I know that there are a lot of things going on.
One credit card is crazy.
That sometimes
It's
don't
a
get
terribly
answered.
inefficient way to
But
run
one thing
things.
I will say is, I know the supervisor is bonded, so anything she does is protected under that bond. So I think that it is her responsibility to make sure she knows what's going on with the money. It's her responsibility to have a credit card again. You know, the previous administration had one credit card for 29 years, and I think that, you know, moving forward, we have to figure out some things. And again, like Trustee Gonzalez said, we're open to receiving any amendments via email, and we'll look at it and discuss it as a board and do what's best for township as a whole moving forward.
All right, so that be crystal clear. The township did have a credit card, one credit card for 29 years. And y'all had a lot of theft going on here in township. So let's be crystal clear about that. So y'all got all that going on.
That's hilarious. One credit card for 29 years for an entire city. I don't care how small. Well, I don't care how small, but that is kind of ridiculous. But hey, one credit card for 29 years and y'all had a lot of theft going on from the person who is accused of stealing a gang of shit. That's hilarious. Let me go and tap into some of these comments real quick. I don't want to get too far. She has the fear of incarceration over her. Definitely. Hey, I appreciate it. I'd like to try to call out all these chats and everything. So I appreciate you giving me a shout out on that. I try to tap in for y'all participating and, you know, hear what the people got to say. I talk way too much. Yo, Mike Trevino, man, look at the thumbnail, brother. Attorney reaction. That's what it is, man. I'm an attorney and I react to shit. So it is what it is. But hey, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you interacting and commenting. I'm going to try to get through that video a little bit longer to appease you, if that'll make you feel better. In Virginia, you must keep secured when not physically in possession to be used a record of each purchase, where for what, and attach the receipt. Each month you had to turn it in by a certain date. Yeah, and there is, and normally they have, and that's the other thing too. It should be some, well, I know she didn't give them access to it, but they have so many audits. I love the $5,000 computer. That must have been one heck of a computer. I agree. I was like, when she said $5,000 just for a computer, I was like, what the hell? They got a damn supercomputer. They like mining Bitcoin or some shit. Follow the money. Everyone in her circle has money problems, just like her. Greed is going to get them. The IRS, the feds. We all know she runs the day-to-day operation as the mayor and supervisor. I 100% agree with that comment. And even if you don't run all of the day-to-day operations, a lot of things are going to be imputed on you in that particular role. You know, that's funny too, because you bring up a good point, because the last video I did where I talked about, you know, where her attorneys withdrew and they said they weren't getting paid. And I thought it was a money thing. Like if she broke, that's why attorneys get up out of cases. but it was a lot going on, and we couldn't even really like. It was very complex to figure out who the attorney and what interest they were actually representing. But a lot of people commented on that video was like, "Yo, she make $300,000 a year. There's no way she broke. She stole this money. There's no way that she broke." Yo, people make a lot of money are broke all the time. People who steal a lot of money are broke all the time. I don't think the one of the most expensive costs of committing the crime is actually trying to cover up the damn crime. Trying to cover up the crime actually has a cost that's involved with it. So it's highly plausible that despite her $300,000 salary, despite how much she may have stole, man, all of that shit probably went to living a life of luxury. All of that shit probably went to overtime. All it probably went is purchase of gifts to give the people to make sure that they aren't, snitching and dropping a dime on her. I mean, so she definitely could be broke. There's a lot of people in that video left comments was like, I don't think she broke. And I was like, nah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, let's just keep it a buck. If you lined up 10 people, 6 out of 10 people don't got $1,000 in their bank account. So those numbers are true. If you line up 6 out of 10 people are probably living paycheck to paycheck. If you line up 10 NBA players, 6 of them probably living paycheck to paycheck. They probably borrowing like hell during the off season, waiting for the next season to start, praying to God that they get their contract extended. She told on herself when she said she doesn't listen to anyone and she does what she wants. Hey, that's what happened, man. When you got boss chick personality, the township has 17 municipalities. The people who speak up for her, she gave them a free food box. They sold out for crumbs. Yeah, she does have the plants in there, but I'm thinking they had, yeah, she gave them some of that spam we was talking about earlier. You are wrong. She is responsible and she needs the card in her hand. She can control and know all the invoices going out. She can get assistance and work with trustees. So you are wrong. DC has one credit card use. DC doesn't have one credit card use. You know how I know? Because I worked for an agency and I ran an organization that had a small budget, but it was a $4 million budget. And purchase cards were given to everyone within one agency. There was a person who managed contract and procurement. Then within that agency, you had two investigative units, and you had multiple units within that agency. And within those multiple units under that one agency, each unit had its own purchase card. So now I have seen it change. I have seen, okay, we don't want to give each unit within the agency their purchase card. The purchase cards just flow through the chief of contract and procurement for that actual organization. But nah, that's not how. I mean, it's been a minute since I worked in DC government. So, hey, it's been a minute. Maybe things changed significantly since 2019, and there's just one credit card. But I know during my time there, no, we had a card in that shop that we can use, and the people down the hall had a card in their shop. Then the people down the hall had a card in their shop. And then at some point they say, you know what, let's change this and we're going to do the card a little bit different. And they had one person do it for the entire agency, but each agency had the ability to set up how they wanted their purchase cards to go. But, I don't know. It may have changed. So, I ain't gonna argue, but it may have changed. Nah, it's all good, fam. It's all good, man. It ain't no beef, man. I'm just saying, there's a reaction show, man. There's a reaction show, so I'm gonna react. Yeah. It's all good, brother. It's all good. Yeah, more money, more problems. Facts. What does a poor man want? Money. What does a rich man want? Money. Everybody want money. Yep, more of it. You said exactly the same thing. What's up? You put the green alcohol that was burning to these flints. Okay, all right. But if it fell off, it must have been time. Get out of here, dog. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. You put some on there. All right, that's cool. Yeah, he probably must have scratched it. All right, get that dog out of here. All right, your sister still here? Huh? Oh, she's spending the night? Oh, good. Glad I go to the office tomorrow. Y'all ain't gonna drive me crazy. All right, bye. Love you. That's funny. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. Yeah. It may come out that Henyard owes money to someone, promised something to someone, and has been unable to fulfill what she's promised. I agree. You don't get people to people aren't gonna do any crime for you without getting something for it. That was something that I talked about in a video when I talked about the DC council member. If I want to get you to participate and do something that's wrong, you'll be an idiot to just do it out of the kindness. Hey man, I really wish you would just push this purchase through for me. I want to buy whatever, a $5,000 purchase that's directly going to me and is going to be in my house. Go and push that through and I won't give you nothing. That's just not how it works. And if that's how it works, you really get caught up. That's how Trayon White got caught up. He was taking money for bribes and he went out to solicit other people to see who he could help facilitate the contract, the district enter into a contract. If somebody gave me money, hey, I'm giving you money to make sure this contract gets entered into by the government. And I go out and I say, hey, you got to vote. You can help push this contract through. If I don't give them any money, what the fuck am I going to get done? I'm not going to get anything done. You got to give them some money to make it really happen. But two, it actually would behoove you to give them some money. So, hey, at least you're not going down in the conspiracy alone. But that dude kept all the bribe money for himself. So I agree with that. That is a 99.9% chance that she gave something to somebody else, made some type of promises or something like that. Man, it's all good, man. Lacey needs to be in jail for trespassing. I agree. Yo, did y'all ever see how he had an interesting story? I tried to pull up the court record. I could talk through it, but I like to have a court record. Where the township mayors covering for their own schemes. But Tiffany does not turn in receipts. She don't got to turn in receipts for investigative purposes. The only people that need receipts are them, the township. The feds don't need receipts. Bankruptcy or family is going to snitch. Or somebody who you didn't give something to. Yep. $300K for a part-time job. That's crazy. Haven't heard much about her so-called charity. Is it under investigation as well? Yeah, we did a video where they talked about that as well. That was under some scrutiny because, again, the charity was under scrutiny. The charity was under scrutiny because they purportedly received direct funds from the township and the village that went directly from the village to her actual charity. And that's not how it's supposed to be done. You always got to have a go-between. You know what I mean? In the legal world, a straw man. I can't give it to you. I got to get an in-between entity to give it to you. Something to that effect. Not that I'm telling people how to commit fraud. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just something I'm saying that, hey, we need a poll. Will Tiffany be locked up in 2024 or 2025 or never? I'd throw a poll up on the channel. I would probably say 2025 because I don't think she's going. Unless she win re-election. If she win re-election, everybody in this town deserves exactly what they got. Yeah, the invoices are going out. I agree. Believe it or not, she makes sense on the credit card issue. Each one for the department heads are responsible for their petty cash and their credit card use. I'm alerted whenever a purchase is made. I agree. Like, her point was actually correct. That's why somebody left a comment earlier. I can't recall who it was. They said, like, in DC, it's just one credit card. And I was like, I just don't think that's the case. It wasn't the case when I was there for all the years I was there. And it's just an inefficient way. Like, you think a big ass city like Los Angeles is just one credit card? That'll be ineffective as hell. Jackson, Mississippi council member for absolutely nothing. I agree. 43K on Amazon is wild. I don't even know yeah, she got 10 grand from the township. And I think that was the money, if I'm not mistaken, that went to her charity. She is the super dumpster mayor I ever saw. That's facts. That's facts. Fraud requires a broker. I agree. In order for fraud to be committed, you do need a player, someone to assist with the fraud. Let's get through the rest of this. And I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about Lacey, but I tried to pull up the court documents. It was more of a pain. I couldn't pull them up on the database I wanted, but I can kind of explain what was going on.
If y'all pay attention to how anybody operation runs, every department here has a card because they are responsible for transparency. If you give one card to one person, you don't know who got it, who spent on it, what receipt at. You don't want one card. Right now, we can go and look up, hey, Carmen was in Walmart today and she bought a TV. You can literally point out where somebody's at and who swiped that card because that name goes to that person's card. That's why you want every single department to have their own card, so that now they're accountable for their spending. We're not doing one credit card. There's no accountability for one credit card, and that's not how operations work. And as relates to the finance director, we said this at the last meeting. Why would we give the finance director a card? That is not his job to run to the store and buy stuff for anybody. That is the department head's job. As relates, that's how y'all don't know. As it relates to finances, that boy has a whole degree. He's supposed to basically go and check and make sure that the finances are in order. That's it. That's it. That's how he checks. And he don't supposed to go to the store and buy stuff. That's what the department head is supposed to do for their department. So everybody loses sight of the why for credit cards, the convenience for the credit card for a department. It has nothing to do with the finance director having it. It has nothing to do with nobody else being it besides the department head to have it to basically account for their spending for their department. If you go check any of our Police Authority Township, you will see anybody have a car, what they spent it on, it got their name back, and they should have receipts for anything that they have spent. So I just want to point that out. So all this talk about we just gonna make this a law. No, we're not. So we're gonna remove supervisor. You can replace
It
them
makes
with a
sense.
manager.
I'm gonna just be honest. That's an effective way to have the purchase card.
But pick one person other than supervisor for the department head. And we should have had this discussion before. I'm tired of them getting up here saying, send y'all an email. I'm not sending you no emails. I told you this at the last meeting, and I'm verbally telling y'all again. Don't add me in nothing because I got nothing to do with the day-to-day as relates to their departments. They are responsible for their departments. They don't pay me for their departments. My advice, again, is to go speak to them and ask them their opinion of what is needed for spending for each department. Before you guys put a law together or something you know nothing about, meaning they need more than what you wrote in here. And IT alone, that alone needs more than what you wrote. But you guys would know that even when they was getting all this spyware and all these issues, they needed a lot more than what you wrote. And y'all know that because they told y'all about it. So my advice again is to amend this ordinance and make sure it makes sense for the needs of the township and not what the board of trustees want it to say. You have to go with the needs, and that's the department heads. So it's a motion and second on the floor to remove supervisor from this ordinance. Replace it with a manager, not me, and go from there.
All right. Trustee Gonzalez?
No.
Trustee Jones? Trustee Carlisle? Trustee Boy Everett? Supervisor Henyard? Motion failed.
All right, to let y'all know how this is gonna work. I'm not taking no credit card. I don't care what y'all vote for in here. I've never seen no mess like this ever in my life. Somebody in here trying to make somebody take a card. That's sickening. That's sickening in itself. So just so y'all clear, managers, we don't have cards to do the day-to-day application. Y'all can write whatever law you want. I'm telling you what it is for a fact. And then y'all know that. So you can vote on however you want. I just told y'all don't put my name in something, but you still did. So please remove me from this ordinance once again, in relation to credit cards.
There's still a motion and second on the floor to approve.
I don't care what y'all do. I ain't taking no credit card.
All right, so y'all wanna amend that?
I would tell her. I mean, I think that's actually smart of her.
They can say no all they want. I don't listen to them. I do not listen to them. No, I do not. That is fact. I'm letting y'all know right now. I don't care what y'all write. I don't care what you write. I'm telling you, I'm not taking no part. So you guys feel the color.
Yeah, shout out to the people in positions and elected officials who push the limit who push the limit of their authority. We don't know what department because all audits have been avoided. Sounds legit. I agree. No broker because there's no accounting department. And this is a Thornton Township. This is why she has less control and security because it's the South Holland Police Department. Okay, so when they're doing the mayoral stuff, they're in the more formal place with the dark wood and all of that other stuff. Her degree from Robert Morris is a lie. She sounds uneducated. Like, notice Tiffany never has a problem with her mic like everyone else does after she rants. That is funny. I didn't notice that until I read that comment. I was like, everybody else, you could barely hear him. Hers is crystal clear. She has to purchase washers, dryers, televisions, etc. for senior citizens vote. I mean, bingo. Hey, you could buy some votes. It's possible. Hashtag justice for Alexis Wilson. Tag, there's community churches that do stuff like that. The townships needs to focus on the quality of the town, roads, street lights, security, recreation, parks, and areas. I agree. Infrastructure, literally the top 3 or 4 things in any election, whether it's state or federal, is going to be the economy, is going to be crime, infrastructure, education. And then if you're talking federal, maybe like Social Security or something like that. But those are normally the top 4 that are always going to be of concern. They can't take that checkbook away. She makes enough. She can buy that stuff on her own time with her own funds. She do, but I don't like. Is she giving somebody who's responsible with her money vibes? Like, nah. I did see a video though where when she was on the Board of Trustees and she was actually making an argument about something that she was in the right on. I watched it and I was like, she actually had very salient, lucid talking points and she was on the right side of an argument. She's panicking because she doesn't want to be on the credit cards so she can make a good defense for court is her thinking. Yeah, that's her thinking, but that's not going to be a good defense. It'll be a defense, but not a good defense. Every department doesn't have a car. That's good. Why our family is under investigation. They sabotage the audio. That would actually not be dumb though. They're not giving her a budget so she can know what she has to spend. It's smart of them to make excuses not to give her a budget. If she knows what she can spend, she's gonna spend it. So I can see why that would be done. I wouldn't be in a rush to give you an actual slush fund that you know what the amount of it is. Yeah, I feel for these officers, they try to be fair in South Holland. Are those officers worse than the other officers anywhere else in adjacent cities? Exactly. She should be focusing on safety of small businesses in her area. The problem is she was spending a lot of her time trying to shake down small businesses in her area and engaging in allegedly racketeering. Like, yo, if you don't contribute to this campaign or do this or do that, we won't approve your license for you to engage in your business. There were a lot of talks and articles about that going on. Yeah. Why are you guys defending her about one credit card? Everybody in Dolton that works for Dolton is probably in one building. It's not a big city. Yeah, I mean, you could probably do the job with one credit card. Apparently, they did that for 29 years. I just don't think that is an effective and efficient way to run. And I don't think it's effective, efficient way to run. But I think your other point is right. In order for the multiple purchase card method to work, you got to have people with integrity who are using it right. Because the multiple purchase card theory would work if the people who had those purchase cards weren't soft. Because if I'm an agency head and she came to me to buy some stupid shit with a card with my name on it, I'm going to be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Just not gonna do it. It ain't gonna make no sense. I looked up Alexis Wilson was assaulted and executed by Dolton, Illinois police. Tiffany helped lie and cover it up. Said her officer did the right thing by killing my 19-year-old daughter. That's crazy. I actually looked up Louis Lacey, and I just looked, at like cases he had, and that guy had he had a lot of litigation with regard to his role as a police officer, all dating all the way back to sergeant, and none of that shit was good. I could do content for 3 or 4 months just based on those old lawsuits. He had one old lawsuit where he finessed a widow out of some money and defrauded her out of thousands of dollars, pretty much her insurance policy money. But he had a lot of lawsuits that are open record related to his conduct, good, bad, or whatever, but mostly bad, related to his conduct as a police officer. She still owes South Suburban College $2,000 from her failed Good Burger restaurant. Yeah, it's funny that her Good Burger restaurant is one, that's a wild name, but to use for a restaurant. But it's funny that that's what's identified on her LinkedIn page. Her LinkedIn page didn't have nothing about the village or the township or anything else. It just said like Good Burger. I was like, yep, that's her. Low crime rate is always good. I agree. She should be in jail already. Nah, they gonna take her time because each day gets worse and worse. They not in a rush. They not in a rush. All of the activities she engaged in, all of the activities that she engaged in, I mean, they still statute of limitations fresh, so they not in a rush. And I will tell you, the FBI was reading this in an article when I did the video on. I hate to talk about my politicians in my city, but when I did the video on the DC council member who took a bribe, typically the FBI tries to avoid, if they can, they try to avoid making an arrest within a certain amount of days of an election because they don't want to do something that's going to influence the election. So, I think the number that I read was like 60 days. So when this council member got swept up, I think they were at like day 73 before his election. So, it's interesting to see. I think their elections are going to be held in January, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It isn't just one person who can use the car. It's two with Robert Hunt. Yeah. Lacey should have been locked up. Literally, if I pull it up, I might see if I can pull it up later. But this dude had so many cases. And when I clicked on those cases, it was all related to, one was somebody who passed away in a vehicle chase that he was involved in. It was all fucked up stuff. Like, I was just like, man, this dude is like I don't know, man. It's just not given it's hard to see why this dude is just still on the force after so many years. And I only read maybe like 2 of them. I skimmed through 2 of them, but they weren't good facts for him. Sometimes let's just keep it a buck. Something happens, an officer in the city is going to get sued. That's kind of normal. And sometimes the facts will be, okay, these facts, the officer acted reasonable, all things considered. And some of them are just like, yo, this officer didn't do anything right at all. Yeah, she named it after Nickelodeon show Good Burger. That's stupid. Like, come on now, just grow up. Like, firefighters getting their benefits. Everybody got on me. Well, they didn't get on me, but I said, man, this is crazy. Because I was looking at the budget when Lightfoot was doing her thing, and I wanted to see where monies were spent. And it was with police department. The fire department budget actually went down per year. And I thought, damn, they're not even getting any. The fire department aren't even getting any kickbacks. That's crazy. If I was the fire department chief, I wish some shit would catch on fire. I'd be slow as hell reacting to it. Now, let me go and turn to this video real quick. But that was the gist of all the credit card stuff, what the township came up with to try to curb the excessive spending on the credit cards by consolidating everything to one card that's under the supervisor, Tiffany Henyard, and she's adamant about it. Now I want to pivot real quick. Let's see, this is at the 208 mark. to the remarks. And we're only going to go through a few of these remarks. We're only going to go through a few of these remarks that the public had, but there were a couple of good ones of people who was talking some, really good stuff. But there were, whoa, let's see. Kamala Harris give me Henyard vibes. Hey, all I'm gonna say is, hey, vote on policy. Don't vote on anything else. Vote on policy and what's in your best interest. That's always my advice to everybody. Don't vote for somebody because they from the same hood. Don't vote for somebody because, like, oh man, you like the way their hair is. You vote for somebody based on what they can do for you, how it could benefit you and your community, and that's it. That's the most important thing, because all the other stuff is really irrelevant. Somebody could look just like you or sound just like you, and I mean, look at the situation we're looking at on the screen right now. They look like you, sound like you, and don't do shit for you. So I'm not saying that, hey, this is a nonpartisan channel over here, but all I'm saying is, you got to make sure you look and evaluate all candidates and give yourself the best option possible. I told somebody this because they laughed at me when I said it. Man, they were talking about the economy. This is the one story I tell you, and I'm not a Trump fanboy. I'll be honest. I don't really like either of the candidates. I damn sure didn't like it when Biden was in, and now that Harris is in, I'm like, they just kind of. I was like, I think we're gonna find out in 6 years all of this stuff may have been planned so they can just give us a candidate that they wanted to give without having a primary, which to me is a little bit undemocratic and unconstitutional. But that's a whole nother story. But we were having to talk about the economy, and I tell people all the time, if investing is one of the smartest things you can do, and the sooner you do it, the better. Typically, if you invest in the S&P 500 and on average you get a 10% return, 7 to 10%, but it averages about 10% a year. Average. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but on average 10% a year. Generally, most people who invest in the stock market, it takes about 7 years for them to double their money. So if you got 20,000 and you don't put another dime in 7 years, you'll double that money. Hey, say what you want, but during those years that Trump was in office, the portfolio was crazy. Like a 4-year period, money in the portfolio doubled over a 4-year period, which was crazy because it was a pandemic. I thought the market was going to tank, but again, I'm not saying I'm voting for either person, but hey, you got to vote what's in your best interest and what applies to you. Because at the end of the day, they all going to sell wolf tickets anyway. If y'all ever heard that phrase, snake oil salesman. But I at least want to hear the promise. Whether you do the promise or not, I need to know. You need to be lying to me right now about what you want to do. Neither one of y'all probably gonna do the shit, but at least tell me what y'all want to do and how your policies are gonna benefit me. That's all I want to hear. Now, if you do that, that's a whole different story, but that's kind of my take on it. Yeah, and that's how Dolton received a judgment of $33 million from Lacey, ignoring the command to stop the chase. Yep, that was one I looked at, and that was the case I looked at. Ain't no telling how many black people Lacey killed. Sell out. It was crazy. If I pull it up, I might pull it up when we get through this, because we're gonna look at some of these reactions, and then we're gonna get it. Lacey or someone destroyed and intentionally deleted, lost the video of the chase Lacey was involved in. 2 cars is good enough for them. Plus, it keeps close tabs on Tiffany. I agree. She's not just a crook. If you're gonna be a criminal, at least be a respectful criminal. Have some dignity and class about you. Bruh, America broke. I agree. No government can do anything for the people. Vote freedom from government. I agree with that completely. The government is never going to do anything to dramatically change your financial situation. Everybody used to always get about me on student loan forgiveness. I was like, when was a time that government forgave something that the government did? If you're waiting for the government to do something to change your financial situation, you're going to be old and crusty as hell. Oh, Trump supporter. No, I can honestly say I cannot. I ain't gonna say how I voted, but I'm not a fan of anybody. And if I'm not a fan of anybody, I would, do what I gotta do. I'm not a fan of anybody. I'm not a fan of Biden. I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm not a fan of Harris. I was a fan of Sanders back in the day, but Bernie Sanders don't really want to be president. He just want to talk and get everybody riled up. I live in Tennessee. I might go to Dalton and run for mayor. That can't be that hard. Yo, the bar for mayor is low. All you got to do is go there and try not to steal egregiously. If you don't steal egregiously, you'll be all right. Yeah. These people need help and prayers. Both Dalton and Thornton Township residents must be living a nightmare. Someone needs to intervene quickly to end this. They're going to have to wait until the election come, according to the courts. I hope you show how the meeting unofficially ended. Well, see, now I got to watch the whole video. What happened? It was like a fight or somebody got punched in the face. I'm voting for my pockets. And when Trump was in office, my pockets were nice. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is the economy was crazy. That I've been investing for a long time. I've never flipped an investment like doubled it that fast in my life. Like now I understand that policies have a delay. So policies that I would put in place today may have a delay. So I understand there is some hangover, but vote your best interest, man. Don't vote on what somebody look like and what they say. Vote your interest and what people say. At this point in time, we're between a rock and a hard spot. I agree. I kind of feel on that. Let's go and take a look at the comments we got. I mean, these remarks.
October 21st through November 4th. If you know someone who needs to register to vote, they can come to the clerk's office Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 to register to vote. Dan Lee.
I gotta see how it unofficially ended. I'm like, what happened?
Testing. Okay, first of all, I'd like to start with a couple of suggestions for the trustees, something that needs to be done to make these things go.
Oh man, I just wanted to see this comment because I thought it was funny. Don't vote for this show, people. Please vote for Kamala Harris in DC. This host is a MAGA supporter, and the sad thing is, this reminds me of the mad rapper. Yo, tell him why you mad, son. That's wow. Okay, that's hilarious and wow. I just wanted to read that comment, and let's just be honest. Regardless of how I vote and how my politics are, you on here judging somebody about what their votes that you perceive them to be. For all you know, I could have rode in these nuts during the last election because I ain't like neither one of the candidates. I could have voted for Hammurabi the 8th because I didn't like neither one of the candidates. But shout out to you. DC goes blue no matter what. You can have 500 Trump supporters. DC always goes blue. So you are going to get your wish that DC is going to go blue. That's hilarious. You don't have to tell me who you vote for. It's clear today with your channel. That's funny. It's too funny. Yeah. Bootlicker started speaking and people walked out. Ah, okay. I didn't even see that.
First of all, on a policy note,
I want to get to the lady in there.
For some of those facility usages and things.
Everybody else mic is relatively low.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I wanted to get to this next lady. Yeah, she has some good commentary. She has some good commentary.
Tiffany Henyard, as supervisor, you should be a steward of our tax dollars. However, you have wasted our money on lavish travel, fine dining, fake cancer foundations, parties, extravagant bingo prizes, and personal campaign materials. Yes, I said personal. I saw all those tents at your poorly attended Taste of Thornton Township event last weekend with your name displayed in large letters. Keith Price commented a few months ago at a meeting about how Thornton Township was a laughing stock to the nation. I partially agree with that, except that it's a laughing stock of the world. And it's
Shout out
not
to
us
the
being
UK
laughed
family in the
at.
chat.
It's you, Tiffany, and Keith Price, and Mr. Lacy. They got all kinds of nicknames for you out there in YouTube land, but I'm sure you're aware of that. Tiffany, you commented earlier about being respectful at the meeting. As a representative of the township, I'm appalled at how Keith Price was, how ignorant and disrespectful he was to Mr. Gonzalez, swearing at him at the meeting. We were told at the beginning of this meeting, we had to watch our language. He surely didn't do that. He was out of order. Lastly, Tiffany, there's one comment that I've heard of your mouth that I actually agree with.
Hey, shout out to her. That was cool. You know how much you gotta hate somebody to have an audio recording. Was that a tape recorder she pulled out, like an actual cassette?
It's you, Tiffany, and Keith
That's wild.
Price,
That looked like a
and
cassette
Mr.
recorder.
Lacy.
Yeah.
They got all kinds of nicknames for you out there in YouTube land, but I'm sure you're aware of that. Tiffany, you commented earlier about being respectful at the meeting. As a representative of the township, I'm appalled at how Keith Price was, how ignorant and disrespectful he was to Mr. Gonzalez, swearing at him at the meeting. We were told at the beginning of this meeting, we had to watch our language. He surely didn't do that. He was out of order. Lastly, Tiffany, there's one comment that I've heard of your mouth that I actually agree with.
Somebody going to jail.
Oh, shout out to her. That was good. They dapping her up. She was good. He stole the show.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be brief, okay? My name is Nate Fields. I'm here today to stand up against the bullying and intimidation tactics being used by those who are supposed to represent us. Last Thursday, I was physically pushed against the window of the outside of this building by Kamal Woods, Tiffany Henyard's boyfriend, during a special board meeting. But this wasn't just an attack on me. It was an attempt to silence anyone who dares speak up against the misuse of our tax dollars.
Bro must be running for mayor.
But I want to make it clear. I would not be intimidated, and I would not back down. This community deserves better than leaders who spend our hard-earned money irresponsibly while resorting to bullying to maintain their power. I'm here to fight for transparency, accountability, and respect for every resident. Together, we can ensure that our voices are heard and that our community is protected from those who seek to abuse their powers, their positions. Thank you.
Jennifer Roberts.
Bro gonna be sitting up there in another year, so
I'm sorry, Ms. Bogan, I'm sorry.
let me see. There's another person who was good. Let me see if I can find it. I don't want to go through all these. I want to go through the ones that I heard, and I was like, okay, they brought a little bit of fire. Let me see. Was it?
Same thing, and it's stealing from.
I'm gonna stop here and go here because he had a little fire.
The department heads are supposed to have it. It's times they can swipe the card and had the Village of Dolton paying for something, and it should have been the Thornton Township. So they just rotating these cards, doing what they want to do. And that should not be happening. Dolton is in, we're destroyed. We are destroyed. And then we have a takeover where one man is taking over the whole damn police department. But we will not be intimidated. So you guys stay woke about what's happening out here in Thornton Township. They're doing the same thing, and they're stealing from you all. And for the people, you know, I love my seniors. You cannot choose bingo over what's going on. That is crazy, because you're gonna pay. Nothing is free.
You cannot choose bingo over there. That's good.
Get excited over these big screen TVs. They're stealing from you all. They're stealing from you all. Unless she's telling us we gotta respect us. Respect her, she don't respect y'all. Y'all remember that when it's time to vote. She does not respect y'all. She does not respect y'all.
Garden Wall.
Or the people who have over.
All right, she was good, and it was one more sister. Was it her? I think it might have been her. I'm just trying to remember people from the garments they had on. She got some papers. I don't know. I can't hardly hear her. Let me see. Nah, I ain't about to go through this. I want to go to the end, though. I want to see how it ended, since I didn't see how it ended. Let's go. Who's the last person? Go. Last person to speak.
Start reading my statement now.
Okay, Mike, 1 second. Go to the mic. You want to start? All right, go ahead.
It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or whether the doer of the deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust.
They're like, nah, bro, we don't want to hear all that. But yo, let me go through some of these comments real quick. I missed some of them. To be fair, the citizens have let it go on too long in Dalton and Thornton. They bear much of the responsibility for giving her the length of time to steal from them. I agree and disagree. I mean, yeah and no. Like, they actually tried to do a recall, but it failed. She got in as mayor because a person died. Like, you know, I think the Thornton matter is, I would probably put more blame on the trustees who nominated her and got her into office. The mayor thing was just so many weird situations and circumstances that happened to lead to her actually becoming mayor. Like, you would think it was scripted. Like, damn, the person died, your opposition died during the election. When does that happen? State Supreme Judicial Court ruled that public comment cannot be stopped even if comments are rude, disrespectful, or personal speech about government officials or government actions. I agree with that. Like if I go over my time and I'm just sitting there, standing there talking, a law enforcement officer could assault me and physically grab me and move me from my location, even though all I'm doing is talking. Yeah, they tried to recall her soon after she was elected, but hey, they didn't get the process right, and the court said they stuck with her until 2025. Once they arrest Tiffany, the show American Greed needs to do a segment on her. That's one of my favorite shows. I love watching American Greed. All those guys doing the Ponzi schemes, but yeah, she would be a good candidate. And I remember they had one on Kilpatrick. They had on Kwame Kilpatrick. They had one on the mayor down in Louisiana with the fake construction contracts that he was finessing. They also contacted the attorney general and the governor and were ignored. That is fair. They did do that. And I will tell you, sometimes I don't know when the federal investigation started, but it's not uncommon if I've been in situations where a state entity and the federal government both had investigations into the same person. And generally, if the FBI say, hey, we doing this investigation into these same things, you can come on and join us, and maybe we can do some task force type of thing. But we don't want y'all to pursue y'all investigation because y'all might jack something up on our end. And then most times, most states are going to defer and say, hey, we'll step back or we'll pull our resources with you. So, that could be the reason why the attorney generals bowed out and didn't do anything, because sometimes if the FBI or the feds or the U.S. attorney say, we're looking into it, take a step back, most times, 90% of the time, I can't think of one instance. Actually, I can't think of one instance where I was in that scenario and we was like, nah, don't worry about it. We was like, nah, don't worry about it. Federal government, we're going to continue to do our thing. It always stopped, actually. Yeah. Sound like Illinois need to vote for a representative that's actually going to represent them from the top down. I agree. Anybody they get after this is going to be a hell of a lot. But in order to be better than Tiffany Henyard, you would have to get like elected and literally start like selling crack or something like that. So it's going to be a very low threshold, but it's probably going to take them, if she's in office 4 years, it's probably going to take them 8 years to fiscally dig out of the hole that they're in. This lady was awesome when crime was low. Yeah, I saw a video that Tiffany Henyard had, and it was I'm trying to think. Was it? I want to give the right channel credit. Was it? I don't know if it was Hannibal is Hungry. Check out his channel. He got a lot of content on her. But I saw a video where back in the day they were using like a government. They were using like a rec center to turn it into like, pool palace or the local strip club or something like that. It was actually a crazy story, and she was on the right side of that argument. But it was actually a wild story. But in that video, I was like, oh, she has some salient points. You shouldn't be using the rec center as a boom boom room or whatever. So yeah, I love the meeting because Tiffany looks like a fool at every one of them. Yep, I agree. This was probably the worst meeting I've seen that she's had. Normally she has meetings and they go kind of bad, but this was a meeting collectively where you could clearly feel the energy in the room was not in her favor. I don't know how many plants or how many people who she paid off allegedly to be in there were in there, but I mean, this was probably the worst of all the ones I've seen. And credit to the trustees, because it looked like they had a plan. They looked like they was on the same page. Ratchet as hell, definitely straight out of the Boondocks. What's going on, Yolanda? I appreciate you chiming in. Oh hell no! Because if it was like, let's just be honest. Like, would she even have been nominated or elected in a town like that? I seriously doubt it. You know what I mean? But it depends. I mean, I've seen cases and personally been a part of investigations that went on for a long time, and the misconduct was going on, and the guidance would be, no, we know they're defrauding this federal program, but keep paying them. Don't stop it, because if you stop the payments, they're gonna suspect that something is going on, and it goes on like that for years until something happens. So it just depends on the facts in the cases. Because in the case of the DC council member, all of his charges, he got his earliest bribe that he took was June 26th. He took 2 more bribes in July and one August 9th, and they arrested him on August 18th of this year. So sometimes they move fast, sometimes they don't. It depends on a lot of things. Office politics could be one, strength of the case, strength of the evidence. It's one of my favorite shows to do. I love who narrates it. I also love Behind the Mansion Walls. I missed that show. I think his name is Stacy Keach. That's how the narrator, because his voice, today on American Greed, he got that voice, man. I'd be like, oh, so. And honestly, how can I say this? Like, most times when they have minorities committing fraud, is never anything really complicated. Like, I've seen a few, but it would be something like, I seen like some church scheme where the church was defrauding the church members and they were investing and they were finessing it. It's always something that's like, is a scheme, but it's not really super complex. I think I've seen a few that may have been complex, but most times that's not the norm. And some people in general just don't have complex schemes. I missed an hour. We'll watch later because I have no idea what I missed. It was nothing. We just talked about things on the front end. That's all. And you look deflated and about to cry. She not gonna cry. That shit. She didn't look deflated. Like, she strikes me as a person who has a personality with exactly what she says she means. Man, she not sweating that stuff. Like, likely nervous about a federal investigation, yes, but don't care at all about any of that stuff. Marion Barry Jr. He was that. If y'all haven't seen that video, go back and watch that video. It was so funny. The comments had me dying. It was just like, it was dumb. Marion Barry would have never got caught like that. It was just crazy. Going through that affidavit was hilarious, and the fact that he asked for more money to pay for his girls trip so she could have some cash was wild. I'm like, bro, you committing fraud for this? Somebody in the comments, they was like, what is his girlfriend Instagram? I need to see what she looked like to see if this was justified. Yeah. Was the lawyer issue a conflict of interest? The lawyer issue a conflict of interest? I don't know. It depends, because, in the previous video we kind of did a deep dive into the lawyers, their lawsuits, because lawyers were battling other lawyers for the right to represent the government interest, and the government weren't paying. They were trying to wait until after the election, and this person is hopefully out of office. So that was really a big issue. I will tell you, the attorneys who represented, I don't even know if they were representing the village, the township, or Tiffany Henyard, because it was just so blurred. And normally you can't do that. Like, normally, if I'm an attorney, if I'm representing someone, but I have a conflict of interest, I can't do it unless they waive that conflict of interest. So, like, oh man, it would be like I'm representing person A in a divorce against person B who I represented in another legal proceeding. It could be, is an inherent conflict there. But you can waive a conflict, but why would you ever waive a conflict? I don't know. That would be crazy. She would try to use the kids for support. They've been playing that game for years with St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Melody Fitness Center / police station. Oh, was that the police station? Was that the police station in the back of the music video that wasn't open? So that's where the boom boom room was. They were straight. I looked at some of that footage. It was the straight Mercedes experience. I don't know if it's the Mercedes. It was the straight Ford experience going on in that jump. So, okay. So that was the fitness center / police center / boom boom room. I mean, it's not a big city, but I still think some of the structural things would apply. Like it would make sense for each agency head, whether no matter how small it is, to have their own purchase card. Like to me. Yeah, his voice is hilarious. How he dips in his tones when he tells the story. He's funnier. He's a funnier Keith Morrison. That's funny that I know his name. Yep. A lot of people. I can't wait. The day that arrests come out, I'm telling y'all right now. The day that Tiffany Henyard is taken into custody, I don't care if I'm in my office at work. I don't care if I'm in my office at work, if I'm in the suit and tie, unless I'm in like the middle of a trial. Unless I'm in the middle of a trial, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I need to take a couple hours leave, and I'm gonna just go live, even if it's from my phone or what, so we can just rap about it and talk about it. If she personally used the lawyer and Thornton used the lawyer, maybe only one check goes out. Fraud, yeah. I mean, that you just can't have that conflict. And in order for an attorney to represent somebody for conflict, the client is expressly going to have to waive the conflict. But yeah, I did a search, and it was crazy what I found on Louis Lacy, just as his conduct as a police officer, which is terrible. He just doesn't appear to be one, not a good person, but he appears to be a terrible officer just based on the 2 cases of the many that I looked at. And these were older cases, but one revolved around a car chase that led to a fatality. So it was just kind of terrible. But yo, that's it for this video. I just wanted to chime in because there was some more stuff going on in Dolton and we needed to talk about it. I'm never going to cover those meetings live because I just think it's too difficult. I can't really see what's going on and give the reaction. I will tell y'all, yo, if you enjoyed this video, got something out of it, anything, like, subscribe, comment, dislike, do whatever, interact. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who watching. Friday, I got a wild video. I don't even know. See, if I tell y'all about it, y'all gonna Google because I haven't seen anybody talking about it. But let's just say I'm gonna take a look at a lawsuit between a prominent celebrity and the cartel. I know that's a wild lawsuit, right? a celebrity and a cartel is talking about a goddamn lawsuit. Is a funny lawsuit, is an interesting lawsuit. I appreciate that. Albert. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who chimed in. It's not about black and white. It's about right and wrong. If she is scared shitless, because nobody want to go to jail. Like, nobody want to go to prison. Well, some people might want to go to prison, but most people in their right mind don't want to willingly go to prison, even if they know that they're doing something wrong. They just hope that they can get away with it. But Friday night, I'm going to do a late show. It'll probably be late, like on some 11 o'clock stuff. But we're going to talk about the cartel and their lawsuit against a prominent black entertainer and how it played out. I know y'all probably thinking, why would the cartel sue a black entertainer? That makes no sense. Exactly. That's why when I saw it, I was like, this lawsuit is wild. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about what was going on and the alleged allegations. Yo, that's it for this video. I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Hey, I'm grateful. I'm happy y'all joined in. I always try to make sure I can get through y'all comments because, hey, I'm doing this and y'all are giving me the best support by giving me y'all time. I know y'all time is valuable, so I definitely appreciate it. Y'all be safe. Love y'all. Peace.